First thing we want to talk about is the schedule a little bit. We are going to, and I wonder how much we agree on this. We'll spend more time, I think, on the later ones, less time on the earlier ones. But the games that you're most confident in, we're going to go from easiest to hardest on FSU's schedule, which again, they get underway in just 20 days, 19 if you watch this on Monday morning. But less than 3 weeks away. Let's go through our game, the 12 games on FSU schedule from easiest to toughest. I'll start us out. I mean, I think East Texas and A&M and Kent State are the easiest 2 games on the schedule in that order. Do we have any disagreements there?
That's my 1 and 2. You have an FCS school and then, Kent State. I was curious. They are literally the lowest ranked team on Bill Connelly's SP Plus rankings. I think those 2 are no-brainers. I think the next one we might agree on as well, but then we might have some disagreements coming up.
Yeah, you can go. I gave the last 2, so what's your next one?
At Stanford. I think
interesting.
I think the dynamic of having to, take a 5-hour flight, likely on a Thursday, could throw a wrench into things, but I just don't think they're very good. It's not a tough atmosphere. It's just a game that it's one of those inexcusable games if you lose it.
So I had Stanford 4th, and I'm taking a guess that we just flipped 3 and 4, which I'm not going to cuss you out for being off by 1. But if you don't have this next one, if you don't have my number 3 as your 4, then I kind of want to know what your logic was on it. I had Wake here. I had Wake Forest here. I considered Wake and Stanford very similar, both replacing coaches, both bottom of the ACC in talent, but playing at Doak seemed a little easier to me than having to travel out to Stanford. I don't think either roster is like crazy better than the other. I think they're pretty similar, but being at home made Wake a little easier to me. And then I put that Stanford game. Did you have Wake at 4?
I have Wake at 5.
Oh, wow. So what was your 4?
Yeah. So at Virginia, it's going to be likely a noon or 3:30 game.
No, Friday night. That's a Friday night.
Friday night game. Okay. So at Virginia still. Again, it's not a tough atmosphere, and I just think Wake Forest is the better team. So, I mean, either way, I a lot of a disagreement early on, which is nice because we don't share these lists with each other beforehand. But yeah, I think at Virginia is a slightly easier game than Wake Forest is.
So again, I think I had Virginia next. So our first 5 are the same, just the 3 are out of order. Wake being at home is again a big deal to me. Playing in Doak is a bigger deal than having a Friday night or a cross country. So some disagreements on our top 5. What did you have as your 6th toughest game?
So my next 2 are home games, but I'll just say the number 6 for now, and that's Pitt.
Okay, I agree here. I agree. Okay. I had Pitt, then I think we're going to agree on it. Pitt, and then Virginia Tech.
Correct. Yep.
And I made Virginia Tech a little tougher. We'll get right back to the video, but first I do want to shout out our friends over at Locke's Air Conditioning. It is the hottest part of the year right now in August. And if you have any AC troubles or you just want to tune up to make sure that you don't have any as we get into the fall, make sure that you're calling our friends over at Locke's Air Conditioning. They are proudly veteran-owned, Tallahassee-born, and most importantly, big FSU fans just like you and I are. Top local experts for elite AC service and installs from Panama City to Tallahassee. They will get you both high quality and detail-focused work with exceptional customer service. They've got great pricing, flexible options, and the industry's best warranty. That's 10 years on all parts and labor. Call Locke's Air Conditioning today for your free quote. Appreciate Locke's for their support. Because I think Drones is a quarterback who is mobile and worries me. It's also coming off of the Clemson game, right? We play Virginia Tech the week after that. Whereas Pitt, well, I don't even know who you play before Pitt. Do you have a bye week after Miami? How does that work? I think you have a little bit of a break before you play. Oh, you play Miami and then Pitt, but you don't travel. You're home for both of those. Correct. So coming back from Clemson, having to play Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech has the better quarterback. I agree with you here. 6 and 7, Pitt and Virginia Tech.
All right. What's your number 8, TJ?
Actually, wait. Yeah, 8. I mean, it's going to Raleigh. Which
Yeah.
I did confirm today that I am going to this. So anybody, I know Hunter is in here a lot. I know that we've got some other people maybe from NC State, just from some of the realignment stuff that we've done that watch this. I'm going to Raleigh. We go to, this is not why you guys tuned in. You don't really care about this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. We go to Blue Ridge every year for the week of Thanksgiving. And we've always gone up on Friday. And then we're there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Usually come home on Thursday or Friday, and then obviously go to the Florida game on Saturday. I have arranged this to where our cabin's about 5.5 hours away from Raleigh, which is not a short drive by any means, but I am going on Friday night to Raleigh, first time ever. And then I'm getting up on Saturday and meeting the family in that Blue Ridge area. We stay right outside of the city. So yeah, I think that's a tough one for sure. I think that's probably to me, that's the kind of the game that a lot of people's emotions and what you think of the season may ride on, because if you lose the ones that are tougher than that, if you win the ones below, 8-4 is a lot different than 7-5. But that's a game that I think is going to be incredibly tough from everything, right? I think NC State has a bounce back year. I think Dave Doran's a good coach, and then that's just been a house of horrors that even EJ and the guys couldn't win when they were there. So yeah, NC State was an easy number 5 for me.
Number 8. But yeah,
sorry, 5 fifth toughest.
I agree with that one, and I think you could easily make an argument that Virginia Tech or Pitt might be the better team as the season goes on. But maybe I'm just still having nightmare flashbacks of games that we've lost, the way we've lost them in Raleigh. That going back to Christian Ponder's days when we're on the 8-yard line about to punch it in at the end of the game, and they botch the handoff, and NC State recovers it. There's been a lot of heartbreaking days in Raleigh, so maybe that's what played a role into me putting them above Pitt or Virginia Tech. But I think they're all close to equal teams, but I just think that is the tougher game, especially with Pitt and VT being at home.
Yeah, and you also have my guy Glenn in here. This is live. Yeah, we see the comments. If this was pre-recorded and I was able to tell you guys the comments that are coming in, that'd be pretty good. But yeah, also I talked about how tough that October was in 2022. When you think about how tough November is here in 2025, where you're on the road at Clemson, home against Virginia Tech, a mobile quarterback, and then on the road at Raleigh and Gainesville all in a month. Let's be fair. If things don't go well, the end of the year is probably not going to go pretty, right? And I do think the team bounces back. I think they have a better year, all these things that we've said all summer. But I hate to even talk like this before the season starts, but the chance of your buy-in being higher for the Pitt game is it's higher than, what I'm saying? There could be some quit by the time you get to NC State. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not cheering for that. I want to go up and see us win a game up there. That'd be amazing. But that factors into. So later in the year, on the road, Friday, again, a Friday night in the ACC. We've got 2 Friday night ACC games. No favors there by the conference, of course. Yeah, that's way up there. All right, so I think that our 1 and 2 are going to be the same 2 teams, and I think that our 3 and 4 are going to be the same 2 teams. Maybe. We've had some disagreements, though, so I don't want to assume anything. So I've got 3 and 4 as the rivals. Or okay. I guess that'd be 9 and 10. I'm looking at it the other way. Yeah, the 3rd and 4th toughest. I've got them as the rivals. You too?
I do.
Okay, what order?
I have Miami strictly because it's a home game, and then at Florida, and I have a lot more trust in DJ Lagway than I do in Carson Beck. So that's really what it came down to.
Okay, so I agree with you. I have them 3 and 4, or again, if you look at them the other way, 9 and 10, the 9 and 10th toughest games. The one thing I will say about the Lagway, so I agree with you on Miami then Florida, home, away, all those things. I don't know that I have more confidence in Lagway than Beck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not me to talk crap about this kid or anything, but he's been on campus for 16 months. He's had 4 injuries. I'm not confident that he even, and I do think that I don't think Carson Beck is going to light the world on fire. I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback in the ACC or anything like that. But I have pretty good confidence that he'll probably be out there. I don't know that I'm confident that Lagway will be out there at the end of the year. I am not cheering for that. I'm not hoping for that. But I think availability is the best ability, and there's a chance that he wouldn't be out there. I also think that Lagway's ceiling is incredibly high. I think that he could be the number 1 overall pick in 2 years, right? Him or Arch. But I also think you need to see him. Like, we kind of know what Beck is going to be, and a lot of what we think about DJ is a lot of wish casting, like thinking he'll get there. Last year, he was really good with the deep ball, but not very good short to intermediate, not very good at just moving the chains. How much do his 4 injuries now limit him being able to use his mobility? I think he takes a step forward. I just don't know that, there's a lot of hype around, oh man, he's going to be a top 3 quarterback in the SEC or anything. I don't know that I'm ready to buy that yet. I don't know that I kind of need to see it. Right. And so I actually think I think Lagway's ceiling is much higher than Beck's. I think he'll be drafted higher than Beck when, in their respective drafts, but I don't know that I have more confidence in him. I went with this solely on the fact that Miami always quits at the end of the year, or always quits at some point in the year, and they will have played their 2 games before us are Florida and Notre Dame. So I could see, they play Notre Dame and Florida in September before playing us in October. So I could see that being a rough spot for Miami. And then home and away is a big deal too. Not that having to go on the road to Miami is ever very challenging. So, all right. So I do agree with you there, but I'm not ready to crown Lagway with the Heisman just yet, like some of their fans are.
I'll be interested to see if we disagree on these last 2.
Well, I have Clemson as the toughest game. So I have Bama as the second toughest. I just think that I like Clemson a little bit more than Bama this year. I like Klubnik a little bit more than Ty Simpson in his first game. And I think going on the road and playing at in Death Valley is more tough than playing Bama at home. So I had Clemson as slightly tougher than Bama.
So I had it flipped. I had at Clemson number 11 and Alabama number 12. I just think Alabama has more talent, consistent all over the field. I'm not a huge Caitlin DeBoer fan, but at the same time, Dabo has proven to be a good coach in the past, but he's really, fallen off a good bit to where I was shocked that he was not even mentioned for the Alabama job when it opened up. And I think there's a reason for that. I think he shoots himself in the foot more than he needs to. Going to Clemson is not going to be easy. I don't think Florida State wins either one of these 2 games, quite frankly. So it doesn't really matter if they're, the 11th hardest or the 12th hardest game on the schedule. But I do think Alabama, because again, Florida State's going to have a brand new team. I know Alabama has a lot of new pieces coming in. I just think Alabama is going to be the tougher team. And I asked my wife, Lindsay, who's an Alabama fan, to
She's biased
for me. Yeah. So, that's how I ended up there.
Would you, and so maybe by you saying that, maybe I know the answer to this. I think based on what we saw from Bama last year, I think I would take Clemson like straight up. Like if both these teams played on a neutral, I think also, so again, we disagree. So I'm not arguing and just kind of giving a little more context for my thought. Playing Bama week 1 to me is much different than playing them week 10. Like we'll play Clemson. Right. And so if I was playing Bama in week 10, I think I'd probably think a little bit differently about it. But you are getting a quarterback who for 3 years couldn't beat out Jalen Milroe. And so if that is the quarterback you get in week 1 on the road, I have more confidence in Florida State pulling an upset there than I do on the road against against who could be the number 1 overall pick in Cade Klubnik. So, but all that said, week 1, I would take, now week 11 might be different, but week 1, I would take Clemson over Bama head to head based on, what we've seen from Bama. Now they may come out and just shock everybody this year and never lose a game, but I would take Clemson head to head on a neutral site for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point because, that was my thought process a few years ago when we opened up with LSU in New Orleans. And, I believe I said on the show, y'all can go fact check it. I'm 99% sure I did. I said Florida State is going to win this game, but it's because it's Brian Kelly's first game. It's a completely new team, essentially. But if we were playing them there in week 8, 9, 10, I would probably have predicted LSU in my preseason predictions for that game. So I completely get your point. And at Clemson is obviously a much tougher atmosphere than playing at home. Um, if and this might sound silly, maybe if it was an 8 o'clock kickoff for Alabama, I might have thought a little differently because I've seen what Doak looks like at 8 o'clock for a huge game, and I know the home field advantage that gives you. But playing at Clemson is definitely the tougher environment, obviously. Um, so I don't know. I know. I thought last I saw Bama was favored by 12.5. I don't know if there's a future on the Clemson game or not. But again, it was a coin flip to me. But I just think Alabama in the trenches has the advantage over Clemson, and that's where football games are won, unless you have a truly elite quarterback, which Klubnik may be. But I think he still has a lot to show. Obviously, the ceiling is there. He like you said, he could be the number one pick. He's top 5 in everybody's preseason Heisman picks. But I need to see him do it for an entire season before I can fully hop on board the Klubnik train.
Yeah. This is not part of the show at all, but I am hammering Clemson -3 to start the year over LSU. I just am not buying them. So to any Clemson fans that happen to be tuned in, you're welcome. Yeah, I'll say this too. Home and away was a big factor for me in that one. If we were on the road to Tuscaloosa and at home against Clemson, I would have everything else aside, I would have absolutely flipped these and not thought twice about it.